Thanks for coming on the show. It's really good to have you.
Don't ask me questions, you coward.
Oh, no. Okay, so firstly, today we're going to be talking a lot about art. Just like to start with what's your personal definition of art?
I think it's anything anyone does with intent, which is a fucked up answer, I think.
No, no. I mean,
Um,
it's an answer.
I get, like, when I say that, it freaks a lot of people out. When I was learning about Dadaism, I brought that answer forward that I don't think that the art is whoever put their name on it. I think it's the person who invented the urinal and molded that specific urinal.
Could it be both though, if both things are done with intent, but then it's a collaborative piece?
Yeah, that's true. I just think the instinct to define what art is inherently shitty. I think it comes from an instinct to gatekeep and delegitimize other forms of art who come from people less successful and less valuable, such as women and minorities.
Have you always been interested in visual art as a personal medium of expression?
Yeah, I was thinking about this answer last night. I think being called an artist is the first label someone else gave me that I felt was accurate. I'm transgender. I changed my name very early, not very early on. I changed my name when I was about 14 years old. I don't identify with the gender. So, like, when I was 4 years old, and my parents were like, "Oh, you're an artist," because I was constantly obsessive about drawing. There's loads of photos of me drawing. I it's it's me. It's very me. Um, I can't imagine a time in my life where I wasn't into art.
Do you have any primary inspirations when it comes to your art?
First of all, I gotta say the goat, greatest of all time, Vincent Van Gogh. His use of color is so inspirational. But like that's like the one brand name artist I can mention. Everyone else that I'm inspired by is local indie artists that I met at conventions. Everything back here and my entire wall over there are indie artists. Growing up, my greatest inspiration was this woman, Lorraine, who was just a friend of my dad's, and she would give us discount stickers because we were kids, and she was able to make a living, and it was truly heartwarming to me.
Earlier this year, your triptych Personal Dissection won an Art and Art History Award at the,
Yeah.
I'm going to read this to get the name right, 28th Annual Juried Student Art Exhibition Awards at Otterbein University, where you're studying. And specifically, as someone working in a largely contemporary context, how do you relate to art and art history and sort of the artists who came before?
I find it's definitely a struggle for my medium because I play heavily in the cartoonist era of I like big, thick, bold lines. I'm way more illustrative than I am painterly. So ev- like what I said earlier about my definition of art. For many years, what I work in now as art was considered not art, which I keep saying the word art, but this is what we're talking about. Very early comics, they are art, but they were continuously not viewed as art. So I'm honestly I'm still very surprised that I won that Art and Art History Award because my art hasn't been viewed as valuable historically, which I
Recognition.
think is recognition. And I'm very surprised that I was given that award because there were far more traditional pieces out there. I'm incredibly happy that pieces like this are now being given recognition.
With the personal dissections triptych, the central panel, the mechanic and the machine, is a very intimate piece. You put a lot of yourself and how you view yourself and how you view the world into that.
I'm incredibly happy with that piece and I love showing it to people, but it is by far my most vulnerable piece. I don't think anyone in my personal life has ever really gotten it. It's a lot of I don't feel attached to my body kind of feeling. And like I don't think I've ever felt attached to my body, but as my disabilities have grown worse, and I think as my disabilities have grown worse and more alienating, it has really emboldened, I think. There's always been a struggle in my mind of who I am versus who I feel I am, and how to maintain the who I feel I am while slowly killing the who everyone else thinks me as, and the multiplicity of myself within my own brain.
It's a very symbolic piece. The use of the cybernetic attachments to the human body specifically stood out to me, and I think probably stand out to a lot of people that see the piece. Is this something you relate to as a disabled artist, or are you using this intentionally, symbolically? What relationship do you have to the cyborg?
Like as I've said, I don't feel human, and I have autism, which adds to the I have a very literal mindscape. One of the characters I felt most attached to in media ever is Data from Star Trek, which is not a surprise. He's a great character, and well, with my pain, I have chronic pain for I don't know reason. Oh, I have fibromyalgia because I'm in so much pain so frequently. There's this dissociative nature within my own brain to prevent the pain from really getting to me. And I often fantasize about like taking apart my hip and just unscrewing or screwing things back together to get that perfect tightness so I can still move and not feel pain. The reason why they're focusing on the leg in that piece is because at the time my leg was totally messed up, and both the character's arm is missing and the mechanic is the machine's arm is missing and the mechanic has this tape on their hand. It was because I was experiencing excruciating carpal tunnel at the time. I was working with a professor in an independent study when I was working on this piece, and this piece was a part of that independent study. And it absolutely destroyed me. And I had to go to other professors and be like, hey, man, I know this is a math class, and a lot of math is writing stuff down and you having to read it, but I have to write with my left hand now. So you just have to deal with that. I was in the cycle of counting the like how long I could use my hand per day and doing the stretches and doing all of the stuff. And it was so alienating from who I am as a person because it was the first time I really questioned losing the artist identity because it's such a core and integral part of myself. And I was in my sophomore junior year of college, and it was the first time I was like, I have fully invested in this one thing and it's breaking so early on. What the fuck else am I supposed to do? I truly struggled with feeling human and not being super depressed at that time. The mechanic and the machine is kind of my catharsis of the feeling of yeah, this is we can deal with this. We can deal with this pain.
In your personal statement attached to the piece, you said that a big part of the relationship between the two characters was the duality of the ability to care for oneself as a person, being able to separate out the parts of your identity or the parts of your body that need additional care and support, and then the parts of yourself capable of giving that care so you can maintain an equilibrium as a whole.
It's actually one of my like mental health coping mechanisms is like the concept of the current self and the future self and the past self all being separate things. I very much am like, oh, I need to do this so future me doesn't have to do this. And thank you, past me, for doing this other thing. It's so hard to come to mental terms with the fact that your body is what's causing the pain. Because in order to do stuff, you have to put the pain aside oftentimes. And in order to treat the pain, in order to get over the pain, you have to put aside the doing stuff. And when you, and in my experience, when I try to combine the two into one movement, I cause so much more pain and so much more damage than ever was necessary.
It's about maintaining a relationship with yourself.
Yeah, there is a necessary quality that I don't know if is well verbalized in the piece of this is an act of self love of you deserve to you deserve love even if you're the only one giving it to yourself, and you can put yourself back together, um and you deserve to be put back together and you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect.
That really does come across, especially for the people that see the figures as representative of the artist or a singular, because I know there have been a lot of different interpretations of that piece. Yeah, see them as the characters as a couple, especially because they're both wearing matching rings, which are your rings, I believe, and they're
They are my ring.
representative. They're in the left panel of the triptych, but because they're matched, some people will read the characters as well a set.
I I still wear the ring. My like all my jewelry actually. There's my dad got me this ring from my high school graduation, so it's really important to me that I include it in all of my pieces. I tried to do some symbolism, and it made I think for some people it made it look like they're two separate characters, which you know there are infinite interpretations in any piece. So
Infinite
say that again.
interpretations. With the symbolism, you're referring to the way you use colors to communicate the passage of time,
Yes,
the time in the calendar, and how the colors of their hair are different, but for you, that's representing sort of this through line path, the past self, the present self, and the future self.
the color. I think the colors is more representative of a scrapped idea of like my dream version of the mechanic and the machine, which I don't have the skill yet, and I don't have the skill and I don't have the emotional wherewithal. I'll say it was initially supposed to be 6 or 7 versions of me, of scrapped versions of young me and cannibalized versions of middle-aged me, but then like this and they're still trying to take care of each other, even as the younger ones are being dissolved to take care to create the older versions of me, and they're all using different colors because even within my own life I use colors to dictate different eras. For the record, we're going into the yellow era next, as foreshadowed in my bandanas. um, I just finished a pair of yellow overalls for a frog of mine because I am aware that the yellow era is about to begin. When I was when I was in middle school, I was purple. When I was younger, I was pink and pink and green. Weirdly enough, and now I'm in this very bright red era, and I'm about to graduate, so I know it's going to end soon. So I'm trying to prepare, and the that was the initial idea of the mechanic of the machine, of this never-ending cycle of taking yourself apart and putting yourself back together in the hopes of what's coming next.
I believe you're currently developing a sequel to The Mechanic and the Machine, a second artwork along a similar theme.
Yeah, I am. It's I'm having a lot of fun working on it, and I'm having a lot of fun learning what I failed at in the mechanic and the machine, because like that was when I was working in the independent study, the professor was like, you should just keep making these over time. And I do them anytime I feel there's been a significant shift within myself. And since the mechanic and machine number one, issue one, because I initially designed it as a comic book cover, I've developed a lot more friendships and I've learned how to exist within my own space a lot better. It's based off a lot more of my real reality. In this one, the body is stripped back even further because we're going into the yellow era. We're figuring out a whole new being. How do I work as an adult in an adult job? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck knows? So their body is a lot more of a naked skeleton because they're still being built. They're a work in progress.
When you speak about the naked skeleton, is that in a human sense, a sort of a cyborgical sense, or a combination of the two?
It's a very mechanical body. I tried to keep intact the open lower intestine that happens in the human body when you're, so the whole thing is like take a mechanical body, remove the skin. Really, the only flesh tone parts of the body is the like the T zone of the face and the ears. They don't have skin on their hands yet. They don't have skin on their anywhere else. But they do have hair and they have eyes. And they have like a t-shirt on, which is like the beginnings of their humanity in my mind. I'm trying to be more intentional and more better about it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to imply all of the history of all of the mechanics and the machines that have come before it yet. I feel like that would be retreading old waters.
Yeah. And of course, it's a piece still in development. You're not finished with it
Oh
yet.
yeah. Yeah.
You've referenced your experiences as a queer artist and as a disabled artist when it comes to your work already. I just wanted to hone back in on that and ask, do you feel these experiences overtly impact the way you represent whether it's yourself, other people's bodies, depictions of life and existence, or if that's something you can choose to depict or not to depict.
I don't think if I wasn't disabled, I would be at all interested in depicting myself. Because it's a joke within the arts community that self-portraits are the worst, they suck. But there are some artists who that is their medium. I don't remember the name of the guy or the name of the painting, but the painting of a guy painting himself, so it's him, it's the mirror, and it's the painting that he's doing. And then medically he painted it. That's one of my greatest inspirations when it comes to the mechanic and the machine. What if we push this as far as we can? What if the self-portrait wasn't a journaling of what the face looks like, but an actual depiction of what is going on within them as an attempt to get to know the artist better. Another piece that I really liked that I did at one point was actually a good exercise in both surrealist self-portrait and regular painting. Is a professor had us do self-portraits without looking in a mirror, and I had the most fun because I took it as a surrealist interpretation. So I painted these big blue eyes and fucked up red hair. It didn't look like me, but it certainly felt like me, and people really responded to that piece.
You recently, as in quite a few months ago now, had a piece included in the Daylight Artist Collective show, Intertwined. As a developing artist, what do opportunities like this represent for you?
Every single one of them represents a make or break moment of this could be the one thing, but I don't actually know the skills in order to make the connections that need to be made. And there's always this hope that, like, maybe every single time, I mean, even if nothing happens at the event, getting the art in is a resume item, and that can get you potential jobs, and that can get you so many opportunities. And it was just really great to be in touch with my local art community.
Are there any achievements, artistically or otherwise, that you feel especially proud of in your career so far?
I'm incredibly proud of everything to do with the mechanic and the machine. It's me at my best, I think. But also, about 2 years ago, I used to work with my dad, and he had a karaoke show, and I did a lot of the art and marketing for that. And it was so much fun to be able to work collaboratively with my family and really see the stuff get out in the world. And to know that they believed in me like that.
Other than what you've already outlined, and you've already sort of answered this question, is there anything specific that keeps bringing you back to creating art and sharing this part of yourself with the world?
I cannot stand not creating. Like, of course, I have art block. Um, I have days where my hand is like, even though it feels fine now, it will just be like, no, we cannot draw. You're bad at it today. I have yet to find another compelling reason for staying alive. Is I think the whole point of being a human and doing all the things is so that you can create something. And for me, it's creating art, because I love thinking surrealistly, and I love trying to transform what I feel into things in the world, and I love depicting the world. But also, I think that also applies to figuring out a better way to till farms. I think it's amazing. I think being able to create is the most amazing thing in the world, and there's no competition in my mind.
Yeah, that's honestly quite beautiful. And the fact that you've found something that you feel this strongly about, which a lot of people don't do, find
Yeah,
something that not it's not even about, this is worth living for, but I feel the need to live to share this sort of aspect of reality with other people. It's a very powerful feeling, and you're very lucky to have found it.
I have like this vocal stem of like, I need this out of my bones, because in my world, that's where the art and creativity exists. And it's just very unpleasant when it gets stuck in the bones, but getting it out is one of the most incredible things in the world.
Yeah. And sometimes you get it out by drawing yourself with bones made of metal.
Sometimes you get it out by just drawing your regular bones.
Hey, so you do that
Sometimes
too. Again, I've been very
I
much
did that too.
thinking about the mechanic and the machine for this conversation, but I do have to remind myself in personal dissection in the left and right panel, you did draw your bones.
Bones, I mean, bones are white naturally. They don't get any staining from being within the body. The reason why some bones are discolored is because they were improperly preserved. Sorry
No, don't
about that one.
apologize.
I love the mechanic in the machine so much. It is my favorite thing I've ever made. My family fucking hates it. Um,
Sorry, if you
and
could see me move, I don't mean to interrupt. If you could see me moving around, then I was looking to see if I have the bone still on my shelf. I don't. You can see a plastic skull just here in my backdrop. I did used to have a number of. You're American. I wondered, do you know what the word Brumby means? Have you come across that?
no, I think
A Brumby is an Australian wild horse. When gosh, nearly a decade ago, what it feels like to be old, we I went on a trip to Mount Kosciuszko and there was a dead Brumby horse. And I acquired a small collection of bones because I thought it would be fun. So I cannot speak to any potential viewers of this conversation, but for me, you are more than welcome to speak on the topic.
this is a tangent, but like since becoming more disabled, I've gotten increasingly into medical shows. As you know, we've talked a couple of them.
Yeah.
Um, but I have gotten increasingly into them, and I'm increasingly into the gore of it because it's kind of cathartic to see pain that is clearly caused. Um, because like I have fibromyalgia, which means my nerve endings are fucked, and they just go off randomly because fuck you. My nerve endings are messed up. I'm lucky because I'm still pretty young and I know about it and I can treat it. It will get progressively more painful as I experience more pain. In things in shows like ER or The Pit where you can see the bone. It's incredibly cathartic to me because I'm like, oh, this causes this amount of pain. This is normal, and it's validating to the patient.
You get to see this fictional representation of, this is the amount of damage caused, this is how it's healed, this is what drugs need to be taken, and this is how the skin tears when you cut it with a surgical implement. And it's all it's a controlled environment. And that's something also I can't speak to you personally, but I know a lot of artists experience when they're representing themselves or things they feel or things they've seen or even things they've heard about. Their art is a controlled environment to bring these feelings or these ideas forth.
I think it is a control. I I think creating the art is definitely a controlled environment, but I don't think showing the art is. Like as we've said, there are infinite interpretations, and none of them are wrong unless you think I'm a Nazi. Those are the wrong ones. Even though they can't be wrong, it still feels a little off when I hear like an incorrect interpretation, just because it's like I guess, but like I failed with this person, but I didn't fail with that person. I still gave him an experience. But it's definitely something you have to like keep in mind and reckon with.
Yeah. And then there's also the question of what counts as failure when you're an artist. Maybe you're failing to achieve the type of dialogue that you wanted. They're not hearing what you're saying, but they're still hearing something that's important to them. And being able to
Yeah,
develop the ability to have these sort of one-sided conversations is a part of displaying your artwork for other people.
yeah, and kind of socially manipulating other people when you don't know when in their life they're going to be experiencing it, and you're never going to be able to talk to every single person who sees all of your art if you're successful.
Absolutely. One final question, which might turn into its whole conversation, but it's something I really wanted to ask you. For the future of your artwork, are there any projects or ideas that are currently unrealized for you that you'd really like to look for in the future? Any type of artwork?
When you graduate from my college, you get a senior thesis, a senior exhibition, and you get to, you and like two or three other peers get control of this gallery for a week. And it's your job to put everything up. It's your job to pick what art of yours you're putting in there. And I am so excited for this, because I'm gonna try to really get people to understand the dissociative nature I have with my body. And with that, I'm building a skull so I can do color stuff with it, and I'm gonna build a giant sculpture of myself within a shopping cart. There's so many things. But at this exact moment, I am working on a book, working off of the themes of the mechanic and the machine and pieces that are related to it, and some essays I've written over the years. And I'm trying to kind of create a book of what I have accomplished as a person over the past couple of years, and I'm really excited for it.
That sounds really great. And I'm sure, depending on how you choose to publish and share that, I'm sure people can't wait to read it.
I think I'm gonna have to bar my family from reading it just because I they can know me, but they can't know me like that.
Yeah. That's
They can
also
look at the picture.
that's a part of the dialogue you have to achieve as an artist as well. Not just what parts of yourself you're willing to explore, but what parts of yourself you're willing for other people to see and what you're prepared to represent, knowing other people could interpret it in their own way.
Yeah, like the things I would publish if my parents and my sister weren't around and I didn't if they weren't so supportive, they wanted to see everything I made. And I have to if I don't want them to look at something, I have to explicitly tell them, do not look at this. It contains X material. If they were they're an artist, I don't really care. The stuff I would publish, the stuff I would put out there.
I mean,
Um,
this is the time to get a pen name, get a pseudonym. You can publish under the name, Mr. Otto Fitzpatrick
thought about it.
Williamsburg. Yeah. Well,
I've thought about
I
it.
can't wait to either see a new publication from Wilson or from Mr. Otto Fitzpatrick Williamsburg. No relation
No relation.
to the Fitzpatrick Williamsburgs of Fitzpatrick Williamsburgton.
Colonial Williamsburg. That's the motherfucker.
I've heard the name.
Yeah. It's like a. Do you guys have Ren fairs?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, it's like a Ren fair for the Revolutionary time,
Uh,
and it's like a town.
Reenactments, but like,
Yeah,
huh, that's interesting. I've heard the
like
name.
it's designed for tourists to come and you see this is how they made shoes back in the day, and this is how they made candles back in the day. And here are these really weird outfits that are not cool looking at all, in my opinion. Um, but it's a lot more educational than the Ren Fair.
No, that's good. Hey, Ren fairs can be educational. It can be educational about a lot of
They
things. My favorite Ren Fair joke, which I've never been able to do or experience personally, but I've heard about, is going to a Ren Fair dressed like you're a Star Trek character and you're in a you're traveling to a new culture, a new civilization, which is
yeah,
probably
and
not the best takeaway considering I do like elves and knights and fair maidens and dragons and all the usual fantastical Ren Fair dress up.
I love the fantastical Ren Fair dress up, but I did just get a Star Trek uniform.
Hey, you know
Um,
what to do.
so I know what to do, but also I have Ren Fair uniforms that I can wear. Um,
You know what this
and
means.
I can't.
Two Ren Fairs.
Two Ren Fairs. Excellent point.
Before we go completely off the rails, I would like to officially thank you for coming on the show. The show doesn't have a name. It's just me wanting to interview you as an artist I know because I think you're very interesting and you have a lot to contribute to the conversation. What conversation? I'm not sure. I'm not an artist. Well, not
Thank you for
you
having
know
me.
what I
This
mean.
was a delight. I know what you
Absolutely.
mean.
I know what you mean. You know what I mean. There is shared knowledge.
We, our minds,
Our minds. Our minds.
fucking, we're very smart, intelligent people.